Now it is time to witness the many faces of death.
So I just saw the new Faces of Death, and in order to prepare for that, I watched the 1978 film Faces of Death. Now, when I was a kid, people always talked about Faces of Death and said all kinds of people die in this film. And of course, back in ye olden times of the 1980s and 90s, you couldn't just Google it. You couldn't ask Grok or ask ChatGPT. You just had to take people's word for it. So I never really had an interest in watching it because I didn't care to watch a snuff film. But it turns out it actually isn't a snuff film. It's just a movie pretending to be a snuff film. So basically, it was Blair Witch before there was such a thing. And the original film is not my kind of movie, to be honest with you. I was bored to tears. If anything, I would give it 2.5 out of 5 stars just because of the legacy that it has. But it is the backbone of the current movie we are talking about, Faces of Death 2026. Now, this movie has a really interesting premise. Our main character works at a social media company, and she's the one that checks all the videos that are flagged. And she's actually really good at her job, which is why you know it's a movie, because if all the social media platforms were to hire this character, the internet would be such a better place. But the main plot point of this movie is somebody is taking the original film and putting videos online. It's a fantastic meta commentary for today that one, you should not believe everything you see on the internet. And two, you should be cautious about everything you see on the internet. And three, people will do anything to become some kind of viral internet darling. And the final thing is, a lot of people don't care what kind of content they're watching as long as they're entertained. Now, the casting for this movie is fantastic. Barbara Ferreira and Dacre Montgomery were the best choices for the roles they had because they completely carried this film. In fact, I was very impressed because we actually had a unique protagonist this time, and the serial killer was a fantastic antagonist. Now, the movie's pacing is all over the place and it's kind of quirky at times. There was one point when the entire theater just bust out laughing, and I don't think it's because the movie was intentionally trying to be funny. I think it was more of a case of seeing somebody act in a real way in a horror movie, which made it feel like a parody. I found the film to be very enjoyable though, which is kind of a surprise because like I said, the original is not my cup of tea, and there was numerous Faces of Death before this film, and they're kind of the same thing. And I really don't have any interest in watching them, but I would say this movie is worth going to watch. Matter of fact, I will give Faces of Death 2026 3 out of 5 stars. It doesn't do anything too groundbreaking. It had a wonderful premise. It didn't quite live up to that premise, but the actors were strong enough to carry it through, so 3 out of 5, good enough.